Alright, welcome to the video. This is the tutorial video for Info 4325 graphic design. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to create and play around with animated stroke effects in Adobe After Effects. So as you can see, this is what we are going to be creating in the video today. Okay, first of all, make sure you have your Adobe After Effects software launched and opened up like this. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do, like we have learned before, is we are going to create a new project and therefore a new composition in the project. So just hit the new composition button, or you can go to the composition, new composition, or use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl N to create a new composition. You can customize however you want. I'm just going to use the default settings that we have here, which is HD 1920 by 1080 at 24 frames per second. Everything here is customizable up to your own liking. Okay, I'm going to have the background color set to black, and for the composition name, I'm going to rename this as text composition or text comp. Once you have that, click OK, and you will have your composition ready right here. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to be importing the logo files that I have provided for you. Okay, to do that, simply go to the project panel, which is on the left side here. You can right click and hit import and import file, or use the shortcut key Ctrl I. Simply import the logo that I have provided. You can use either the .ai logo, which is the vector file, or the PNG file that I have provided. Both are acceptable for this tutorial. Okay, I'm just going to import both, but you don't have to. With that out of the way, now we are going to be playing with the text composition. The first thing that we are going to be creating is the animated stroke using the text layer. Once you are in here, the first thing you are going to do is to just simply create a text. Okay, so to do that, you can select the text layer up here. Okay, the horizontal type tool, or use Ctrl T on your keyboard to select the text tool. Click anywhere inside of your composition and type in your desired text. I'm just going to type the same thing as the sample video that I've shown, which is just simply KICT. Choose the font that you want. You can customize the font however you want, and once you have all this, we are going to be playing around a little bit with the text layer. The first thing that we are going to do is to set the alignment of the text by going to the paragraph tab on the right side here. Okay, if you cannot find the paragraph tab here, make sure you go to window and find paragraph all the way over here, or you can use Ctrl 7 on your keyboard shortcut. Alright, once you have that, make sure to have the text layer selected in the layers panel or in the timeline, and make sure you have the text centered, not using the left align text or the right align text, but make sure it is centered, because we are going to be placing the text right in the center of the composition. Once that's done, we are going to be aligning the text to the center of the composition. Go to the align tab over here, or the align property on the right side on the right panel here, or if you cannot find the align tab, make sure to go to window and hit align. It should be the first option in the Windows drop down menu. Make sure to have the text layer selected and hit text align horizontally, and also to align it vertically. You should have something that looks like this. After this step, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to convert this text layer into a shape layer, so that we can further edit and customize the text to make it an animated stroke. Simply go to the layers panel down here, just beside the timeline. Go to the text layer, right click, and find create. From here, you can select create shapes from text. If you have done it correctly, this is what will be shown on your timeline and also on your composition. Okay, you will have two layers in the timeline right now, which is the bottom one should be the original text layer, and also there will be another shape layer called whatever your text is, and it will have the word outlines in the name of the layer itself. The next thing that we are going to do is to customize the appearance of this shape layer. The next thing we are going to do is to change the appearance of this layer. From now on, I am going to be referring to this layer as the shape layer and no longer the text layer. So I have the shape layer selected right now, and then we are going to go up to the top here, to the controls panel up here, and we are going to be changing the fill color and also the stroke color of this layer. We are going to turn off or remove the fill color because we are only going to be playing with the stroke color or the outline color. To cycle through the types of fill colors for this layer, simply hold Alt, okay, the alternate button on your keyboard, and now click on the fill color to change or cycle through the types of color for the layer. What you want to achieve here is to simply click and keep on clicking until you turn off or remove the whole color for the layer. When you have that red slash over there, it means that the fill color is no longer there. Now what we are going to do is we are going to add a stroke color. By default, this should be turned off. So what you are going to do now is to click on the stroke color and just change it to whatever color you want. And make sure that you have set the stroke width, which is just on the right side of the stroke color, to whatever size that you want. For me, I'm just going to choose something like maybe 5 pixels. Okay, that looks good already. You can see the result by just deselecting everything. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to add the property that will enable this text to be animated. Go down to the layers panel here. You will see all of this messed up settings over here. Simply click on the drop down beside the contents, okay, to close everything out. You should have something that looks like this right now. Have the content selected. Now go to add, which should be just on the right side of the contents menu here. Okay, click on the symbol here, and you want to add the trim paths property, and everything about this property should be under this trim paths setting here. What we are going to do now is we are going to be animating the offset, and we are going to be changing the value for the end of this trim path property. So the first thing that you're going to do is to change the end value to any number that's not 100%. So for me, I'm just going to choose 70%. Now go to the offset. Simply have your timeline or the playhead here all the way to the beginning of the video. Now click on the stopwatch to create a keyframe for the offset. Make sure it is set to 0, 0. Now go all the way down the timeline to whatever duration that you want. I'm just going to go all the way to the end because I have set this animation to be 10 seconds long. Okay, so all the way to the end here, and I am just going to change this initial number here, the first number here, to something like 3, 4 or 5. Any round numbers will do. And now if you try to play the animation, this is what you will get, exactly like the sample video that I have shown to you. Alright, so essentially we're now done animating the strokes for the text layer. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to be animating the logo that we have just imported into the project. Now, please create a new composition. I'm sure everyone knows how to do it by now, which is to just hit Ctrl N on your keyboard, or go up here to composition, okay, up here to composition and select new composition. This will create a new composition for you inside the same project. The settings should be exactly the same with the text composition that we just created, and I want you to name this composition to something that's identifiable for the logo outline. Okay, so I'm just going to rename this to logo composition or logo comp and hit OK to create the composition. Now what you want to do is to click and drag either one of the image that I just provided you, whether it's the .ai file, which is the vector file, or also the PNG file. Either one will do, but just choose one for you. For me, I'm just going to choose the vector file, which is the logo-outline.ai file. Okay, you should have this, so drag and drop to the composition. Now this logo should appear over here. Alright, Now we are going to essentially do a little bit of the same thing that we just did to the text layer, which is we are going to create a shape from this image or this vector file, but we are going to do it a little bit differently by using the pen tool. Okay, now what you want to do is to deselect everything. Hit the pen tool on the top toolbar here. Okay, it should be over here. All right, or you can press G on your keyboard. That is the keyboard shortcut for the pen tool. What I want you to do now is to draw a line that covers the entire logo here. In simpler terms, I want you to create an outline on top of this image outline. Okay, make sure to have your stroke color set to whatever color you want that's different from the color of the logo. Okay, once you have that, please increase your stroke width or the size of the stroke to something that's a little big. For example, 50 or 70. Okay, we are going to make it real big because I want the shape layer to cover every single yellow line that's on the image here. Now start drawing on top of the image. Make sure everything is deselected and start drawing. So I'm just going to click and keep on clicking, following this entire logo. Okay, so keep on clicking and follow this entire logo. Now the key point here is to not make it perfect. Okay, you can spend a lot of time doing this, but for now it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, as you can see here, it's not really that perfect. Okay, there are some mistakes, some imperfections in this shape. Okay, so to fix that, just increase the stroke width on top here. So just increase it. So I'm just going to put in 70. Okay, now it's really big and the shape layer has already covered everything that's behind the shape. So the logo can no longer be seen. Okay, the yellow logo can no longer be seen. Now everything is just red. Okay, now at the end you should have something that looks like this. 2 layers and you have this shape over here. The color doesn't matter. Okay, you can choose any color that you want. The next step, what you are going to do is to have your cursor to the selection tool. Make sure to use the selection tool now, or hit V on your keyboard to go back to the selection tool. Go to the shape layer, have it selected, open the shape layer, okay, from the drop down, and you should have contents and transform. The same thing that you did, select and only select the contents, make sure it's highlighted, go to add, click on the icon, and select trim paths. Now what you are going to do is to open the trim paths and the same settings that you have, except we are not going to be animating the offset for this one. We are going to be animating the end value. Have the playhead here, go all the way to the beginning of the video, all the way to 00 seconds, and select the stopwatch at the end value to create a keyframe for the end value. And now I want you to change the value for the end to 0%. Now go all the way to the end of the timeline. For me, it's 10 seconds. You can go to any duration that you want. If you want to make it 3 seconds, 4 seconds, it's up to you. And change the value back to 100%. Once you have these 2 keyframes, okay, so this one keyframe in the beginning and this one keyframe at the very end. If you play this video, now you can see that this logo here is now animated. At least the shape layer is now animated. Close the shape layer, okay, make sure everything is neat and tidy, good practice. Now go to logo outline over here and make sure you have the track matte setting open. If you do not see the track matte setting over here, hit F4 on your keyboard. Okay, so make sure you are inside the timeline. So just click anywhere inside the timeline to highlight the entire panel. Okay, and hit F4 on your keyboard. So F4 will toggle between this and this mode. Okay, make sure you are in this mode so the track matte settings is open. Go to the track matte setting for the logo outline.ai or .png. Make sure you select the original logo layer or the original image and change the track matte from none to shape layer 1. This is what you should have. The shape layer is on top, the logo outline or the image should be on the bottom, and this is what the track matte settings should look like. Okay, the track matte should be set for the logo outline.ai to shape layer 1 or any shape that is on top of the image file. Now, if you try to play the animation, this is what you will get. Okay, now the image is already being animated, and this is the result that you essentially want. Now, once you have reached this point of the video, I want you to create a third composition. Okay, create a new composition that will combine the text and the logo onto the same composition or the same video. Okay, so create a new composition, simply hit Ctrl N or go to the composition up here and go to new composition. Make sure the settings are all the exact same, and you can rename this composition to anything that you want that is identifiable. I am going to just rename this to main composition or main comp. Okay, hit OK to create that composition, and you should have this blank slate, blank canvas here. What I want you to do now is to go to the project panel here. Okay, select the logo layer. So click and drag the logo composition onto this main composition. Okay, now you should have the logo inside this composition. And also don't forget to click and drag the text composition onto the logo composition. It can be on top or it can be at the bottom. Now, as usual, once you have this, simply just resize the text composition and the logo composition so they fit in together well. Okay, so just scale down. I'm hitting S on my keyboard to bring up the scale option, and just simply scale the text to the middle of the logo layer. Now, if you play this, this is what you will get, which is just the exact same as the sample video that I've given. Alright, so basically that is all for this video tutorial. At the end of the video, you should be able to achieve this animation, which is to animate the stroke for a text layer and also to animate the stroke for the logo or the image layer. So I hope this tutorial video is easy enough for you to understand. And if you have any problems or if you don't understand anything regarding this tutorial video, you can just contact me and I will try to help you as best as I can. Alright, so thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial class. Thank you.